So it's almost doing that thing that scares you the most, but it's the thing you have to do. And it will always be the thing that scares you the most. That's the obstacle that will be in your way until you.
I feel like we live in a generation where social media is very accessible to everyone. They want to look at other people and then compare to their own lives. I think the key is to truly set goals for yourself, set daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, and understand if I do complete those goals, these are for me. This is for my self growth. This is for my self development. So it's only going to allow me to be a better version of who I was yesterday. Having that mindset and cultivating that mindset is exactly what I need to do in order to get to the next level.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. That's a good way to say it. And the only thing I would add is to an entrepreneur who thinks that they are behind or they're not where they should be, first is to look at where they are now and to say, you know what, I'm better than where I used to be. And that should be for most entrepreneurs. They should be able to see some progress in what they're doing. And again, to not compare yourself with anyone else. The only person that I know I compare myself with is the version of myself from yesterday. And if you can beat that person every day, as they say in Atomic Habits, just that little bit each day of progression, then you will be eventually where you want to be. But comparing yourself to others, it's a failing exercise all the time because while you're comparing yourself to others, you're not really working on the best version of you. So running your own race, understanding it's a marathon, not a sprint, is how I view it.
Somebody might be motivated to make sure that their family is fed. Some people just want to be motivated to truly get out of the situation that they're in. And so it's also hard to look at other people's accomplishments because the way they got there could be a completely different motivation or drive to the life that you have. So it's just so important to look within and understand, okay, what are my desires? What is going to get me up in the morning to accomplish this? Because not everybody has those same get up and goes.
It takes time to build something worth being proud of. What does patience look like on your journey right now?
I call it being patiently persistent because when you set goals, we always set aggressive goals and we always feel like we are not where we want to be, meaning we always feel like we're not at our best. And I think the moment we feel like we're at our best, we're going to stop attempting to improve. And that's going to be the start of the decline. So we always set aggressive goals and we are working each day to try and get there. So I wish I could say I was patient. I don't know if I'm very patient because I see something in my mind and then I'm blessed to have the team to help bring it to fruition because I'm not the guy that's going to bring it to fruition. I'm more of the ideas guy. And Ryan, along with Trina, along with my wife, they are the ones that can see my vision and then they put in the practical steps to making it happen. So I think for us, it defines our roles of what I need to do as the leader of the organization and what does everyone else need to do? What does the organization need from me for us to continue to grow? So patience, I don't know if I'm the best on patience. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm very, very patient to be very, very honest.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like goals has to be the precipice of everything you do because there's no way to track your success or your failures without having some type of goal, having some type of guideline that is going to get you to that goal.
The way I see goals, they're like a roadmap for us. And so we set aggressive goals that we work hard to achieve. And we just focus on accomplishing them each and every day. So I would say to the entrepreneur listening, you start with a goal, but what's more important than the goal is to break it down into biteable steps. So you have this big goal, but they all have to start with the beginning, right? And that's okay. What does it take to accomplish this goal? You want to earn this income. Okay, what will it take to accomplish earning that income? You want to drive this number in sales. Okay, what is and just start breaking it down piece by piece instead of trying to eat the entire elephant with one bite. You just take chunks off. It's like, okay, if we do this, this is an important piece to achieving that goal. Okay, step by step by step by step. And before you know it, you're there. And I would say you want to set aggressive goals. And then if you don't accomplish that aggressive goal, you just reset it, right? You just extend the time. You just maybe adjust the goal somewhat. So, and I know they call those stretch goals. So we have goals that we want to achieve, and then we have stretch goals. And those are the ones that are a little bit beyond what we think we could actually do. And you need those to continue to push forward. But I would just say don't get disappointed because you hadn't hit a particular goal at a particular time. Just reset it and keep moving forward.
Yeah, just don't stop. It's the action that's so key, isn't it? Marcus, did you have any idea when you first started out the type of man that you would be today? Like what about who you are now kind of surprised you? Like, we step into these roles and we live, and there's character development along the way.
Yeah, that is a really good question. So by nature, I'm an introvert. I'm introverted. And one of the things that I had to move past was some of my introverted tendencies. And to do that, that was the only way to get Snowy, in my opinion, to where it is today, was I had to change. Snowy couldn't change any more than I could. So for me, it was doing those things that were uncomfortable, having those conversations that I normally would perhaps shy away from having, being a bit more aggressive when it came to certain events that we wanted to do, being more vocal. And so those were some of the things that I had to change or adjust or modify in order for Snowy to be, I think, where it is today. So I think you do have to create a different version of yourself to identify those weak spots that can't be weak if your company is going to get to where it's going to get to. So it's almost doing that thing that scares you the most, but it's the thing you have to do. And it will always be the thing that scares you the most is the thing that you have to, that's the obstacle that will be in your way until you shatter it. And then once you shatter it, you gain a level of confidence. And as you gain confidence, it builds upon itself. And then you just realize that, you know what, there's nothing I can't do. There's no business we can't have. There's just nothing that I think is unachievable for Snowy, because you start to get the little wins, and again, they build on each other, and you just keep moving, and you just don't take it personally, right? Setbacks, we know we're going to have setbacks. We talk about them now. We talk about, some might call them failures. We call them setbacks. And we just move past them. We don't stay in that setback very long. We identify what happened, and we work to fix it, period. And we move on. I get the question quite a bit about what things to avoid. What mistakes would you avoid, you know? And the one thing that I share with entrepreneurs is that list is too long. You'll take too much time going through the list of things to avoid, instead of understanding that they're part of the process of you building yourself into a better person, that it's going to take that person to create the business that you want. So don't be fearful of making mistakes. Make mistakes and make them fast, and learn from them fast so you can keep moving forward. So that's how I feel about that.
I love that advice. Attack the mistakes, make them, let fear be your barometer. That
Yeah.
that really is your
So
guide,
what?
isn't it?
So what?
Yeah.
You made a mistake. I don't even care anymore. I make them so frequently. I really make them so frequently. I don't have time, and I'm making so many of them that I don't really have time to bask in them or to woe is me type attitude. It's just, let's make them, let's move. Because every time we make a mistake, and this is what I tell Ryan all the time, even when he was a lot younger, and my wife hated this, but this is what I would say. She would say, Marcus, can you just get to the point? But I would ask my kids, what did you learn? If you're in that same situation again tomorrow, what would you do differently? And to me, that's it right there. Because if you wouldn't do anything differently, then you didn't learn anything from the experience. But if you can look at it honestly and say, you know what? Yeah, had I to do it again, I would have prepared a little bit better for that. I would have gone through my checklist a little bit more thoroughly to understand that this device didn't work, which was a key component to us doing an event successfully. So if we could just learn, then again, you're building upon the failures, and that's how you become strong. It's not it's not the wins that build you. The wins are easy, right? You win and things are going well. There's no learning from a win, very little learning from a win. It's the failures that provide the biggest opportunity for you to learn. So I don't beat my team up for failing. And I think if I'm not telling the truth, I think Ryan he can correct me on that. But as long as we're learning and the failures aren't final, then we just move on. Let's not do that again. And how can we not do it again? Do we need to rewrite the procedure? Do we need to buy some equipment? Do we need to implement something different? What do we need to do to make sure that doesn't happen again? We come up with the solution and we move on to the next problem that we're about to have, because it's coming. If we're not in the problem right now, it's one right over the horizon waiting on us. So we got to be ready to take on that challenge.
It's true. It's true. There's a couple of thoughts that come from that. What you just said was the greatest enemy of success is a little bit of success, because then you relax. You don't get all the way. I want to ask you, because you've risen to quite a leadership role in Snowy, and you're responsible for quite a lot. So what in you had to grow in order to fully succeed in the role that you're in right now? Like, what did you have to face in yourself?
Well, to piggyback off my dad, I'm also an introvert, and that it's hard to try to manage and have this role by being an introvert, but it's something that I had to get out of my comfort zone and be comfortable doing, because that's the only way for us to grow. So definitely just getting out of my shell, talking to people, networking with people at the chamber events we're going to, and just expanding my mind by also opening my mouth. And that has allowed me to truly just understand, okay, this is how I need to deliver messages. This is how I need to be in order to grow. And also I had to deflate and decrease my ego. I think that was probably the biggest thing for me. is it's just something, especially as a man, to feel like you have it all or feel like you've done so much into something. I'm a very project based person, so I will put hours and hours into developing processes or developing certain things, and I could deliver it to certain people, my dad, Miss Trina, and they might say some things like, hey, this is good, but you got to do this or you got to do that. And at first, it was like a punch in my personal gut. But now I understand it's nothing personal. It's all to just increase the business, to increase our efficiency, the way we're going to excel in Snowy. So by me decreasing my ego, increasing my humility, hey, this is my fault. I messed up. What's next? That mindset has allowed me to just handle business and not take things personal, not allow it to affect my personal life. And I feel like after baseball, when things happen in Snowy, I would take it personally because I attach my identity to the business. And by me understanding who I am and my work, it's a completely separate entity than my work in the business. So by me separating that, decreasing my ego, increasing my humility, I'm now able to be the person that can really handle business and walk away from it and still be okay and be all right. Some things it's not going to be comfortable. Like what Steve Harvey said, success is not a comfortable position. So it's going to be times where, especially the way we're growing, the way we're scaling, it's not going to be easy. So it's going to be conversation that we're going to have. So having that mindset that to know, okay, things are going to happen that I'm not going to be comfortable with. We're not, me, my dad, Miss Trina, anybody involved with Snowy, we don't have the same brain. Even if I had a twin brother, we will not have the same brain all the time. So we're going to have differences, and understanding that and knowing, even though we're going to have differences, as long as we cultivate a team that has the same foundation of just wanting to make the business work, wanting to serve smiles, wanting to just be successful, that is what has allowed me to be the best version of myself and just handle business and truly hear other people's point of views because I understand the foundation of it.
Yeah.
So that allowed me to grow at an exponential rate.
Yeah. And if I could just add, he has done a fantastic job because he really has been just thrown into the fire and he's had to figure out quite a bit on his own. And for us, you said it very well, Ryan, removing the egos out of it and just figuring out what's the best thing to do for the business. I don't have to be right. If your idea is better than mine. And what we've realized, I think when we both pull our egos out of it, we were able to combine, or we were able to hear the other person's idea objectively. And that's important for the business owners who are listening out there. Don't be stuck on it going your way or you doing it your way. Think through what's the best way for it to happen. And we do that a lot, even to this day. I mean, just we had a meeting earlier today talking about what's the best idea, what's the best equipment for certain events. And when we pull egos out, we tend to get to the right answer. It's like, okay, yeah, this makes the most sense. I don't care whose idea it was. And most times it's a combination of both of our ideas, most times. But sometimes it's his idea. He'll show, I want to do some things a certain way. And he'll say, Dad, you know what? I don't think that's right. I think we should do it this way. And he has so much experience now. He would do that when he didn't have much experience. And I think I didn't handle that the right way because he would offer suggestions and it may have been a suggestion that I've tried already it may not have been very well thought out, but based on his experience, it was the best he could offer. And I don't know if I did the best job of saying, you know what, Ryan, no, we need to do it a different way. And this is why. So I may not have done the best job of that. But now, with the experience he has, any idea he offers, it's now coming with a vast array of knowledge of all of our units, of all of our processes and procedures, of all of our equipment, of all of our Wi-Fi capabilities, of all of the space that it takes to put a unit where, onboarding a satellite card to our van and offloading it. I mean, so his experience now is so vast that honestly, I look to him and I ask him, okay, what unit should go where? What do you need me to do? You tell me what to do. And that typically works out pretty doggone well. I'll have some suggestions, but most times 90% of what he's recommending, we go with as is. So that's growth. And again, one day my goal is for him to sit on this side and to be able to run it. And I said, man, pick my brain, get all the information because I'm an old man. I've led people for over 30 years. I've been in corporate America. I've got an MBA. I mean, I've done some things that are pretty cool that I want to give to you. I want to give you the Cliff Note version of what I've learned in my 53 years. So don't learn every lesson yourself. It takes too much time. Take the lessons that I've learned and that I would die before giving you bad advice. I mean, I would literally die before I told you something that I didn't think was right. So take what I've learned and the bruises that I've had to deal with and don't don't over redo those experiences. Go get some new bruises is what I tell them. Go get some new experiences. Go fail in some new items. I failed enough in so many of them. Don't fail at the ones I failed at. Let's fail at some new stuff. Anyway, long-winded answer to say, we're starting to find our stride, and we're starting to trust each other to be able to do some complicated things and to know, okay, he's going to do it the right way. And so he's earned that trust, and I try hard, and I hope he feels it, but I try hard to show that I am more trusting in his ability and capabilities now to just kind of let him lead in certain areas.
He's well informed, well supported, and equipped, it sounds like, which is incredible. If you could just for a minute talk about a time where you've either seen each other shine, where you've truly seen like the true nature of somebody and been like, that's it. That's what we want. That's what we want on our team. That's you. That's what you bring. I love it. Right?
Yeah. Did we ever talk about the kid with the snow cone after hours when we're shutting down? I don't know if we've captured that story yet, but I'll tell it very quickly. We were shutting, and this is a story about Ryan. So we were shutting down at the Duluth Arts Festival here in Atlanta, in the suburb of Atlanta. And it was a kid, probably 5 years old. And the organizers had ordered us to shut down. It was like, guys, we got to get you guys going. But we still had people coming. So we finally were able to shut the operation down. And so this mom and this 5 or 6-year-old came to the front, and Ryan saw them and greeted them and let them know that we were shut down. And, unfortunately, we were pretty much done. And so they walked away, but I could see the kid was crying. He was crying, and the mom, I could hear, I was still in earshot. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry, son," because she made him eat, I guess, his dinner or whatever before he could have a snow cone. And then when they got back, it was closed. So he's crying and crying and crying. And so Ryan, he looks at me and said, "Dad, I shaved the last one for myself, but I could give it to the kid." So I said, "Go catch him." So at this time, he was still crying, but they were, I don't know, maybe 100 yards away, a little more. And so he ran. He said, "Can y'all come back?" And they came back, and I handed him the snow cone, and we were talking to the kid, and we're like, "Hey, man, you can make your own flavors. Here you go. We got one left." And so his face just lit up, and his mom's eyes were just, I can't explain the look in her eyes when we handed her the snow cone. And she said, "How much do I owe you for the snow cone?" Because he was smiling, he was happy. And I remember saying, "Ma'am, not a thing." I said, there's nothing you can give us right now. And that was one of the best feelings in the world. And to see Ryan not be selfish with the snow cone he was about to make for himself, he just shaved the ice, didn't put any flavor on it. To see him not be selfish and to say, "No, man, this is going to make this kid's day. Let me give it to him," was one of the best experiences I've ever had in Snowie. Can't tell you how much money we made that weekend. Can't tell you how much money we made that day. I can't tell you much about that day, but I could tell you I'll never forget how we made that kid feel. So that's one for me.
Amazing.
Well, I have a story. Shout out to my dad. My dad, he was a guest speaker for the Braves to Business at Truist Park. The background of that event, it's basically a bunch of people who are trying to get into the Braves, whatever business they're a part of. My dad was watching him talk up there with the most confidence that I've seen, and we haven't served a single snow cone in there. Just talking about what it takes to get there and how hard you have to work and what things you have to do. And he told the story on how in our previous Braves to Business that we had the van outside ready with ice. And if anybody had anything to say about, hey, how is a Snowy? I would like to try one. We would have said, okay, we'll be right back. Give us 10 minutes because we're going to give you a snow cone because we had it already ready. So for him to be on that stage, probably a good 400 people might have been there. And it was the most inspiring situation I've ever been in. So, and I'm telling you, we have not served a single snow cone inside of Truist Park at that point. It's such an inspiration. I mean, the things that he puts in his brain and then he puts in the universe, they happen. So it was such an inspiration to see.
That was a fun day. That was a fun day.
That's amazing. I love how you were ready. No matter what, we're going to be ready.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? I said, hey, if one of these Braves executives might want a snow cone, like, yeah, it's a great idea, man. I wish I could try one. Yeah, we were ready. The truck was fully stocked, ready to serve. Actually, everybody in that room could have had one. Yeah, it was a fun event, fun night. And it turned out well for us. The next, we were in the park a few months later. That was fun.
I think we can go through things in life and they don't make sense at the time, but they prepare us for those moments, like key moments.
Yeah, well, you don't get them often. And that's the thing, right? So sometimes you may only have one shot. Eminem says it very well. Sometimes you only have one opportunity. And if you had that one opportunity, would you take advantage of it? Would you be prepared? Will you be ready for it? Because you may never have that shot again. So to not be ready for your one opportunity is a tragedy. And I never wanted to not be ready when that opportunity would present itself. And it will. That's the thing. If you're ready and you keep, I've heard Denzel Washington say this. He said, if you keep hanging out in the barbershop, you will get a haircut at some point. If you just stay in the barbershop long enough and just stay in that environment and just keep doing what you should do, things are going to happen. And you never know. And it's going to be when you don't expect it. It always is. It's going to be, it's just going to be in the God we serve and that we love. He does things in his own time, and it's never in our time, right? But it's in his time, which is always perfect time. So we've learned not to question his timing. I know I have. Like, you know what, God, you know what I want. You know how hard we work for it. And if we don't have it yet, it's because of reasons that are above my pay grade and that I don't need to understand. I just need to keep swimming. I just need to keep getting up every day. I need to keep working hard. I need to keep serving smiles. I need to keep improving the processes. I need to keep hiring the best possible staff we can find and retaining them, not just hiring them, but retaining them, making it a fun place to work. That's important to us. It's got to be fun. I tell everyone, our entire staff, if this is not fun, please find something else to do because it should be fun. You're going to work. We're going to work hard. But if you're not having fun serving snow cones to a kid, typically, man, I don't know what you're going to do that's going to make it fun. That is going to make your life more interesting or more fun.
It's true. I think like there's a central theme and it's recognizing the power of each moment. Like the moment that you're in, those moments to be generous and to make someone smile. You guys are experts at it. You live it. It's who you are.
Yeah. If you're not making somebody's life better, I mean, what are you doing? Personally, every contact I have with someone, I want to start it with a smile. I want to start it. I just want to make people feel good. And that is just in my DNA. And I think anybody's watching this who've known me for any period of time, they know, like, I want to make people feel better. I want to give somebody a smile who just may need that smile to get them through the day. Tell them they're doing a good job. That just might be that little piece they need to help in a tough situation in their life. I just try not to minimize, and you talk about the moments, right? I just try not to minimize the moments we have with humans, with other humans, and how I'm telling you, how just a smile or a touch on the shoulder, just saying, hey man, good job. Just that can be the difference in somebody giving up or making it through. So I don't minimize those moments.
And to piggyback, life is just too short. So for us to be intentional on every moment that we have with each other, I feel like it's the key to happiness. It allows for people to want to be in certain environments, be in certain situations because they feel comfortable. And that's what we want to cultivate at Snowy Atlanta. We want people to know it doesn't matter what unit you go to, what staff member you see, where you're at, you're going to have a fantastic experience. You're going to walk away feeling better than when you walked in. We serve thousands of customers. So I may not ever see that person ever again. But I know in my heart that I did my very best to provide the best service I could to make that person feel special, valued, and and make them feel worth it.
I got it in my cup, yeah. I got a snowy cup. Cherry in my cup, yeah. What flavor you want, fill it up. Berry in my cup, yeah. What flavor you want, fill it up.